Did you know that while most seniors dream of living into their 90s, nearly 85% never make it past 82? And no, it's not because of bad luck. It's not your genes either. According to a study from Harvard Medical School, only 15% of longevity is determined by genetics. The other 85%, it comes down to daily habits, small, repeatable choices we make without even thinking. That means the difference between aging gracefully into your 90s or being robbed of that time may already be happening silently in your routine. And today, you'll meet someone who lived that truth. This is Evelyn Ross, a retired librarian from Oregon. At 70, she still volunteered at her community center, did crosswords every evening, and made a mean chicken soup. She looked like the picture of healthy aging until everything changed. One winter morning, Evelyn fainted while gardening. A checkup revealed more than dehydration. She had stage 2 hypertension, early cognitive decline, and prediabetes, all things that hadn't shown up in her last physical just 2 years earlier. Her doctor said something chilling. "Evelyn, you're heading down a path that too many healthy-looking seniors don't come back from. If you don't change course now, the next 10 years will not be the retirement you imagined." That conversation lit a fire in her. Evelyn began researching why so many vibrant seniors begin to decline suddenly in their 70s. What she found stunned her, and it might save you. Because the truth is, there are 5 deadly, daily mistakes that most people over 65 make without ever realizing it. And the craziest part, they're not high-risk behaviors or medical complications. They're routine choices, like when you eat your meals, how often you challenge your brain, or when you take your medications. Evelyn called these invisible traps because they feel normal, even responsible. But they slowly chip away at your strength, your clarity, your independence. And once she spotted them, she started changing them, one by one. Now at 74, Evelyn no longer has prediabetes. Her blood pressure has stabilized without extra meds. Her memory is sharper. And she just led her first senior book club discussion without notes. She says, "I didn't feel old. I was just doing what everyone else my age was doing. I just didn't realize we were all aging ourselves too fast." Today we're going to walk through each of the 5 hidden mistakes Evelyn fixed, and how you can too. And I'll tell you this. Number 3 is something almost every viewer is doing right now without realizing the danger. And number 5, it's the most common cause of early senior decline, and it's so simple, most doctors don't even mention it until it's too late. So are you ready to take back control? Before we dive in, tell me in the comments, what age do you want to live to, and what's one daily habit you already know you want to change? Now let's uncover the first mistake that could be quietly stealing your future. Mistake 1, the medication overload spiral. Let's talk about one of the most dangerous traps hiding behind your bathroom mirror. Multiple medications. Do you know how many pills you take every day? Now meet Harold Benson, a 74-year-old retired firefighter from Michigan. At one point, he was taking 14 different medications daily, some prescribed, some over-the-counter, a few he'd picked up after seeing an ad on TV. One for blood pressure, one for sleep, one for digestion, 2 for cholesterol, a multivitamin, and a painkiller he kept just in case. But here's what Harold didn't know. According to researchers at Johns Hopkins, taking 5 or more medications significantly raises your risk of adverse drug reactions, including internal bleeding, cognitive decline, falls, and even premature death. In fact, the mortality risk increases by up to 88% when medications start piling up. It's not just the number, it's the interaction. Harold's minor side effects, like confusion, dizziness, leg cramps, were being treated as new medical problems. Each symptom led to a new prescription, but those weren't new conditions, they were drug side effects. A sleeping pill triggered morning fatigue, so his doctor added a stimulant. That stimulant upset his stomach, so he added antacids. The antacids blocked magnesium and his leg cramps got worse, so he took more painkillers. Sound familiar? One day, Harold blacked out while getting out of bed. The ER doctor discovered a dangerous drug interaction between his heart medication and an herbal supplement he thought was just natural. That close call changed everything. Harold implemented what he now calls his red flag review. He wrote down every single pill he took, prescriptions, supplements, and over-the-counter meds, and took that list to his pharmacist. Then he asked one crucial question: which of these don't belong together? He also started doing quarterly medication reviews with his primary doctor and made sure all his specialists communicated with each other before adding anything new. In just 4 months, Harold reduced his medication count from 14 to 6 under full medical supervision. His brain fog lifted, his balance improved, his energy returned, and most of all, he felt like himself again. Now, he follows this 5-question rule before accepting any new drug. Is this symptom possibly a side effect of something I'm already taking? Have I tried a non-drug solution first? Do all my doctors know about this addition? Will this mix safely with what I'm already on? What's the plan to eventually stop this medication? It's called medication independence, and it starts with one conversation. So let me ask you, when was the last time you reviewed all your medications with one trusted provider? Are you sure every pill in your cabinet is still serving you? Because sometimes healing begins by taking less. And now we move to mistake 2, one that's likely sitting in your kitchen right now and quietly sabotaging your future. Shall we take a look? Mistake 2. The hidden toxins lurking in your kitchen. Let's take a trip to the one place that should nourish you, but may actually be silently working against you. Your pantry. 3 years ago, Margaret Evans, a 70-year-old retired librarian, believed she was eating healthy. Her shelves were filled with whole-grain cereal, low-fat snacks, diet drinks, and reduced-sodium soups. It all looked harmless, even responsible, but under the surface, a nutritional minefield. Her granola bars, marketed as heart-healthy, contained more sugar than a glazed donut. Her so-called diet soda, loaded with aspartame, an artificial sweetener now linked to stroke risk and metabolic disruption in older adults, according to the Journal of the American Geriatric Society. Margaret had no idea these foods were aging her from the inside out. Geriatric dietitians call them inflammation accelerators, products that flood your body with hidden sugars, preservatives, and chemicals that confuse your metabolism, spike your insulin, and weaken your immune system over time. But the most surprising discovery: Margaret wasn't just eating poorly, she was chronically dehydrated. Like many seniors, she rarely felt thirsty and only drank a few glasses of water a day. Yet she consumed tea, coffee, and the occasional glass of wine, all dehydrating. The result: fatigue, brain fog, joint stiffness, and a blood test revealing the early stages of kidney stress. Everything changed after a single pantry audit with her grandson, who happened to be studying nutrition in college. Together, they cleared the shelves and started from scratch using what Margaret now calls her pantry power 5. No more than 5 ingredients in any packaged food. 5 glasses of water before 5 p.m. to stay hydrated and reduce nighttime bathroom trips. 5 colors on her plate every day: green spinach, red berries, orange carrots, purple cabbage, and yellow squash. She swapped processed meats for wild salmon and chicken, ditched flavored yogurts for plain Greek yogurt with cinnamon and berries, replaced sugary drinks with cucumber mint-infused water. Even snacks became a health win: almonds, walnuts, and pumpkin seeds instead of crackers or cookies. Her pre-diabetic labs reversed within 4 months. Her digestion improved. Her skin looked radiant. And that nagging inflammation in her knees, gone. But perhaps the most unexpected benefit: her grocery bill dropped by 30%. She realized something profound. The food that heals is often cheaper, simpler, and closer to nature. So here's your challenge: go grab one box from your pantry, read the label. Are there more than 5 ingredients? Can you pronounce them all? If not, maybe today is your turning point too. Now let's move to mistake 3, a daily behavior that 9 out of 10 seniors still do, even though it's quietly draining years from their life. Ready? Mistake 3. The silent trap that destroys strength faster than aging itself. Now get ready, because mistake number 3 almost cost Margaret her independence forever. At 71, Margaret had what most would call a close call. She slipped on a wet step outside her church and managed to catch herself. No injury, just a scare, but instead of bouncing back, she became afraid. "I'll just be extra careful," she told herself, so she stopped using stairs. She avoided walking on gravel. She quit gardening. She started skipping her morning walk. It seemed like a reasonable choice to avoid another fall, but it was the beginning of a silent spiral. The less she moved, the weaker she became. Her legs stiffened. Her balance wobbled. Within a year, Margaret couldn't get out of bed without gripping both sides of the mattress. She didn't fall again, but she was falling apart. Here's the brutal truth. Studies from the National Institute on Aging show that seniors who limit movement due to fear of falling are 3 times more likely to suffer a serious fall within the next 12 months. Why? Because every day you avoid movement, your muscles shrink, your coordination fades, and your bones lose density. In Margaret's case, one misstep turned into a full year of lost mobility. Her wake-up call. Not being able to lift her 3-year-old grandson onto her lap. That moment led her to a senior physical therapist who said something that changed her forever. "Margaret, you're 71 with the muscle mass of someone 85. Playing it safe is robbing your strength." So she flipped the script, with what she now calls her rule of 3s. 3 balance exercises while brushing her teeth, like standing on one foot or rising onto her toes. 3 strength movements during commercial breaks, like squats, wall push-ups, or seated knee lifts. 3 gentle stretches before bed, focusing on hips, hamstrings, and lower back. In the beginning, she needed the sink for balance. But within 2 weeks, she was standing on one foot for 30 seconds. By month 3, she was walking trails again. By month 6, she joined a local silver strength group, where she now teaches modified yoga for beginners. The secret? She made her fitness functional, carrying laundry baskets at different angles to mimic lifting, walking on grass, sand, and inclines to retrain her balance, practicing getting off the floor, because fall recovery is a skill. But the biggest shift wasn't physical, it was mental. Margaret stopped fearing her body and started challenging it. She learned that muscles respond at any age, and a study from Tufts University backs her up. Seniors in their 90s can double their strength in just 12 weeks of consistent effort. Today, Margaret walks without a cane. She climbs stairs. She gardens again. She even danced at her granddaughter's wedding. Not because she never fell, but because she refused to let the fear of falling keep her from living. So, let me ask you, what's one movement you've been avoiding out of caution? Drop it in the comments. But don't go anywhere, because mistake 4 might be in your own living room right now, and it's quietly stealing your cognition hour by hour. Mistake 4. The hidden habit that shrinks your brain and your lifespan. Mistake number 4 is the sneakiest one yet, because it doesn't feel like a mistake at all. After 40 years of teaching, Elaine, a retired music instructor from Oregon, looked forward to her quiet mornings. No lesson plans, no noisy students, just her coffee, crossword puzzles, and her tabby cat, Oliver. At first, the silence felt like freedom, but within months that silence grew heavy. Her days blurred together. She forgot the names of former students she once adored. Even her beloved piano sat untouched. She didn't realize it then, but Elaine was trapped in the social isolation spiral, a health threat so severe that the World Health Organization now ranks it alongside obesity and smoking in terms of early mortality risk. Here's the science. Studies from Brigham Young University show that loneliness increases the risk of early death by 50%. That's equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It's also linked to faster memory loss, reduced immune function, and even shrinking brain volume. Elaine's wake-up moment came on a Sunday morning. She couldn't remember if she'd spoken to anyone in the last 4 days. Her phone had 0 new messages. The only voice she'd heard was her own, talking to the cat. That afternoon, her daughter dropped by and found Elaine staring at the television, tears quietly running down her cheeks. "I just feel like I'm slowly vanishing," she whispered. That single sentence changed everything. Together, they built a plan, starting with the LIFE method Elaine now swears by. L. Local outreach. She began waving to neighbors, chatting with cashiers, even complimenting strangers. I. Involvement. She signed up for a weekly knitting group at the community center. F. Frequent connection. Daily texts or calls to 3 people she cared about. E. Enrichment through learning. She enrolled in a virtual course on classical music appreciation. What started as baby steps soon became a full revival. Elaine began hosting tea once a week with 2 neighbors. She volunteered at the library once a month to help shelve books. She even joined a video call book club for women over 60 and made a friend from Scotland who shared her love of Mozart. The results? Within 8 weeks, her blood pressure dropped 12 points. Her sleep quality dramatically improved. She began remembering small details again, like where she put her glasses or the name of her favorite student from 1987. Most importantly, the loneliness lifted, and with it the fog. Today, Elaine has a connection calendar on her fridge. 3 deep conversations a week, 2 in-person meetups, and 1 new outreach. Whether it's a call to an old friend, a message on social media, or a new community class. She even joined a local seniors choir, and just last month they performed at the town square for the first time since the pandemic. Here's what she says now. "I thought I needed rest. What I really needed was people." So let me ask you, when was the last time you had a meaningful conversation? Not small talk, not a text chain. A real exchange of thoughts, stories, laughter. Be honest. Comment below. Because the next mistake we're about to explore, it has to do with your brain and something you're probably doing right now without even realizing the risk. Mistake 5. The "it's just aging" brain trap. Now get ready, because mistake number 5 is the one that slips by quietly. It doesn't make noise, it doesn't hurt, but it slowly erases who you are. It's the belief that forgetfulness is normal. That's exactly what James, a 76-year-old retired engineer from Colorado, told himself the day he walked into the kitchen and couldn't remember why he was there. Or the time he blanked on his neighbor's name, even though they'd lived next door for 20 years. Just getting older, he'd shrug. Happens to everyone. But that single belief almost cost him everything. Because here's the devastating truth. Treating memory loss as normal actually speeds it up. A major study from the University of Michigan found that when seniors believe cognitive decline is inevitable, their risk of developing actual dementia increases by over 60%. Why? Because the brain, much like a muscle, responds to how you use it or don't. James stopped doing crossword puzzles, gave up his woodworking hobby. He even let his wife handle all the finances because he was too forgetful. And with every surrender, his brain got quieter, slower, dimmer, until one day he forgot his wedding anniversary. 47 years. Gone. That night his wife broke down. And for the first time, James realized this wasn't just about forgetting dates. It was about forgetting his identity. That's when everything changed. James launched what he now calls his brain comeback blueprint. It wasn't magic. It was intention. Every morning he began with 15 minutes of brain games, logic puzzles, pattern recognition, even chess against an AI. At lunch, he watched one educational video on a subject he knew nothing about: quantum physics, ancient history, digital art. He challenged himself to explain what he learned to someone else before dinner. And at night, he replaced mindless TV with reading biographies, poetry, even foreign language novels, with a dictionary in hand. But the biggest surprise, movement. James began taking daily 30-minute walks, then added Tai Chi classes. Later, he started dancing on weekends with his wife at the senior center. Why dancing? Because science shows it's one of the best brain exercises available. It engages memory, balance, timing, coordination, and even emotion, all in one joyful activity. Within 3 months, James' short-term memory improved by 35%. His mood lifted, his focus sharpened, and he regained the confidence to take over the family budget again. But what really shocked him? His MRI showed increased hippocampal volume. That's the part of the brain responsible for memory. His doctor said it was like looking at someone 15 years younger. James now lives by the BRAIN method. Believe in neuroplasticity. Your brain is still growing. Reinforce learning by teaching it to others. Active body, active mind, move daily. Invest in new experiences, travel, courses, challenges. Nurture your mind with rest, healthy food, and quiet focus. At 76, James isn't afraid of aging anymore. He's learning photography, writing his life story, and mentoring high school robotics students, helping them build the future while he rewires his brain. He says the real memory killer isn't age, it's apathy. So here's the question I have for you. What's one skill or subject you've always wanted to learn, but convinced yourself you were too old for? Comment below. This might be the moment your comeback begins. Because as James proves, it's never too late to remember who you are and become someone new. So now you've seen it. 5 hidden mistakes that slowly steal your strength, your clarity, your joy, without you even realizing it. And 5 real seniors who chose to fight back. Not with magic, not with luck, but with awareness, action, and the courage to say, I deserve more than just survival. I deserve to thrive. Evelyn rewrote her future by learning the truth behind her daily routine. Harold reclaimed his mind and balance by questioning his pills. Margaret rebuilt her strength by challenging fear instead of avoiding it. Elaine reignited her spirit by reconnecting with others. And James reminded us that it's never too late to grow a younger brain and a bolder life. Here's what all of them have in common. They didn't wait. They didn't wait for a fall, a hospital visit, or a doctor's warning they couldn't reverse. They acted when the signs were still silent, when the danger was still invisible, when they still had time. And so do you. Because the truth is, aging doesn't take you by surprise. It sends subbed. The question is, will you answer? Will you choose to do one small thing differently today? Maybe it's setting a timer to walk for 10 minutes. Or calling your pharmacist for a medication review. Or reaching out to that old friend you've been meaning to reconnect with. Or learning one new thing before bedtime. Because these aren't just habits. They're lifelines. They're the choices that decide whether you coast to. So I'll leave you with this. You are not too old. It is not too late. And this life, this one right here, is still yours to shape. Comment below with one action you're committing to today. I'll be reading. I'll be cheering for you. And who knows, your story might be the next one we tell. If this message opened your eyes, share it. You never know who might need it more than they're willing to say. And don't forget to subscribe. Because your best decade isn't behind you, it's just getting started. Let's go claim I.